Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I am Rhoda Ngonzi on Sign Language. Elizabeth Nakakuni. Let's take a look at the top stories tonight. KCCA petitions leader of opposition to halt EFRIS system. Government targets collecting about 1.9 trillion shillings in the proposed tax bills. While Muslims prepare for Eid al-Fitr tomorrow. And in sports, Ndeje University successfully hosts the 13th Woodball Open Championship. Hello once again. President Yoweri Museveni and Virginijus Sinkevicius, the European Union Commissioner for Environment, Oceans and Fisheries, have signed a new forest partnership agreement worth 167 billion Ugandan shillings to support Uganda's efforts to combat deforestation and promote sustainable forestry practices. The grant will focus on 3 key areas, including boosting investment and jobs, expanding forest cover, and strengthening governance. This agreement marks a significant milestone in the long-standing collaboration between Uganda and the EU on natural resources management. Commissioner Sinkevicius commended Uganda for being among the first 5 countries to sign such a partnership with the European Union. On his part, President Museveni welcomed the European Union group and appreciated their support for the environment, saying it is great to protect the ecosystem, including national parks and forest reserves, adding that the wetlands should be included in their conservation plans. Now, the signing ceremony held at State House in Entebbe was attended by high-ranking officials from both Uganda and the EU. Minister of State for Environment, Beatrice Anywa, expressed her gratitude for the partnership, highlighting its potential benefits.
Make a distinction between forests or trees on private land, as opposed to the ones in the protected areas. How do you distinguish that? You need to know that, because what we call forest reserves or nature parks, because I transferred some of the forests from mere forest reserves to national parks. 100% protection, because the forest reserves, there was the idea of sustainably harvesting the trees, which meant you could cut, but you plant, but you like that. So I said no. For the forests in the crucial ecosystems, they are now national parks.
Uganda will be affected mainly by coffee, as being one of the large coffee exporters. And therefore, our aim is to ensure a smooth transition, that this legislation deepen our ties and understanding, and ensures that Uganda can successfully export coffee which would be produced sustainably. Our legislation is aimed to have sustainable agricultural practices, increase agricultural efficiency and output from the current land, and not to continue to deforest those most precious forests around the world, such as in Southeast Asia, Congo Basin or Amazon Basin.
The People's Defense Forces UPDF, in its joint operation with the armed forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo, have put out of action an allied Democratic Forces commander and the outfit's medic known as Dr. Musa. Let's take a look.
The ADF medic Dr. Musa was killed in action by the Joint Mobile Squad Forces under the 83rd Battalion of the UPDF at Mugulumugulu, near Tukobeka, 30 kilometers northwest of Kainama. The ADF medic Dr. Musa was killed in action by the Joint Mobile Squad Forces under the 83rd Battalion of the UPDF at Mugulumugulu, near Tukobeka, 30 kilometers northwest of Kainama.
The joint forces continue to register success after success. Remember the other day I told you about the death of Baghdad, a commander in ADF, a notorious commander. The joint forces were able to put out of action another commander by the name of Dr. Musa. Dr. Musa was in charge of the medical logistics of the ADF, especially in Muhammad Lumisa's group that is operating in our Sector 2. Sector 2 are the areas of Kainama, Chabi, Bulasi, Busio, that area.
Dr. Musa, at the time of his death, was operating closely with another notorious ADF commander called Muhammad Lumisa. The tactical efforts to locate, fix and neutralize other group members still at large by the joint troops of UPDF and Fadaka Army.
It is near Tokomeka, around 30 kilometers northwest of Kainama, where our Sector 2 tactical headquarters are. We are also able to recover one submachine gun that he was using and a military radio that he was using to communicate. Then the group of 5 others escaped, but they scored under 83 Battalion under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Alfred Mbogo is pursuing them, and soon I'll be giving you information about how far they have gone, but we expect good results out of that. We thank all the Congolese and the Ugandans who have been very supportive in this operation that has enabled us to register success.
The ADF has intensified the implanting of improvised explosive devices, IEDs. However, the Joint Forces Technical Explosive Ordnance Disposal Teams are handling the IED threats. Haruna Mtesasira, UPC News.
Government targets collection of about 1.9 trillion shillings in the proposed tax bills that are to boost the domestic revenue mobilization. The new proposed taxes include 100 shillings on every litre of petrol and diesel fuel, 300 shillings on kerosene, 0.5% on withdrawals through agent banking, 5% charges on non-business assets like land and rental properties, and an extended tax on cement products like adhesives. The tax bills were presented by the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to the Parliamentary Committee on Finance for scrutiny.
Government seeks to alter the existing tax framework as part of the strategies to boost the medium-term domestic revenue mobilization. The new tax proposals include amendment of the income tax, stamp duty, excise duty, tax procedures, and the value-added tax. The Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development presented the tax bills to the Committee of Finance in Parliament.
We propose to amend in all tax bills to remove reference to hospital and maintain specialized medical facilities.
The ministry officials first faced hard time to explain the due diligence justifying the impact assessments of the proposed tax reforms.
Regarding the explanatory notes, the research on tax bills that are being laid, and it has been said here that they have one and the minister confirms that he's going to lay after. Can we confirm that they are all available and be laid at after your presentation of the bills?
Minister of State for Finance, General Duties Henry Musasizi told the MPs how the move fosters economic growth.
To, number one, balance the need for additional revenue with the impact on consumers and businesses. 2, ensure stability and predictability of the tax system.
Minister Musasizi told the committee government will charge 100 shillings tax per litre of both petroleum and diesel and 300 shillings on kerosene to boost revenue up to the tune of 200.92 billion.
The 300 kerosene is used for many purposes, but the main purpose is it can easily be mixed with the diesel, what we call adulteration. I would have expected in this year the ministry to come up with measures, even if they are not revenue generating, but measures that can actually push growth so that URA can collect money in future.
The Committee on Finance looked at the government's proposals to slap 0.5% on withdrawals through agent banking, 5% charges on non-business assets like land and rental properties, and unextended tax on cement products like adhesive. Minister Musasizi says beneficiaries of agent banking need to face the same tax order as incurred by the mobile money users. The tax on cement products like lime and adhesive is projected to hike building costs. Anyone intending to sell off property, say land and rentals, will be charged 5% of the gains.
Land, we are interested in the gain because some individuals are not in the business of buying and selling land. Therefore, they cannot account for it as business income. They are individuals, me and you, who owns a piece of land and I sell it at a gain.
The proposed tax bills will generate at least 1.9 trillion if Parliament agrees with the government proposals. This comes at a time when a section of the community is criticizing government for inadequately sensitizing the masses on the tax reforms and introduction of the digital solutions.
How are you going to grow?
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gitabinji, UBC News.
Section of city traders under their umbrella body, Federation of Uganda Traders Association FUTA, have called off the demonstrations opposing the electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing solution system introduced by EURA. They say the hold on the strike was to enable traders sell items for Eid al-Fitr and the promise made by reliable authority to meet the president in 3 days.
In a stand-down protest launched Monday, the traders did not open shops for any business unless URA revisited the EFRIS system.
Eyo system gye baleese simanye ya value added akakuma ke baagala tugule kagula million 2.5 ekintu ekyo tetusobola kikola.
However, Tuesday morning they seemed to have changed their minds as business was usual. The traders asserted that one of the prior reasons that prompted them to resume business was to allow traders sell their merchandise ahead of celebrating Eid al-Fitr.
Tutegezeddwako nti waliwo bano abatunda kamukamu nabo mu kikubo mwebali oba betwandise baliteyiras bo basazeewo ne bagulawo amaduuka gaabwe olwaleero nti batundemu ebintu bino ebya Eid ebibaddemu era batusabye era ne boogerezeganya ne bannaabwe ababasingako.
And today we have decided to open because tomorrow we are having Eid al-Fitr.
Some traders have threatened to carry on with a strike should the concerned authorities fail to meet their demands.
So we have opened today because yesterday we did what we wanted as the traders in Chikubo. So after Eid or another day, we can decide on Friday or next Monday to do what we did yesterday.
Security forces patrolled the Central Business Center to deter any sabotage. The Secretary General and Vice Chairman Federation of Uganda Traders Association Trade UBC, government officials confirmed there would be a meeting with the president in 3 days.
Are you broadcasting what had happened yesterday in the area just because it was different from the usual days? We got some government officials who called us, who called the FUTA leaders and tried to discuss with us what was happening.
Finance bweyisa policy oba bweyisa etteeka president alina okulisaako omukono parliament ne webeera ng'eriyisizza. So tukkiriza nti president w'eggwanga bw'anaalabanga ensonga eno ddala eri genuine gye twogerako ajja kuyisa ekiragiro ekijjawo enkola eno ya EFRIS n'emisolo emingi gikkeko wansi.
Federation of Uganda Traders Association has threatened to resume the demonstration exercise should they fail to meet the president within the promised time frame.
Of course, we have to bring back the news to our people that these people were just lying to us. Yeah, we didn't want this issue to be so hard on them. We wanted to be easy so that our issue can be easily heard.
Kasita leadership has already met leader of opposition at parliament. However, Futa says they don't expect any miracles.
This Kasita, as I've told you, they have always failed to us. Kasita is now almost a government body because they are always conniving with government officials. So they are not reaching our issues to where they are supposed to go. So there is nothing much we're expecting from them.
Despite the normal business schedule, some shops in Chikubo Business Center remained closed. Amaiva Njuko and Viola Nakasaga for UBC.
In Uganda, Broadcasting Corporation Management has presented a 3-year strategic plan to UPC board for their input. The plan emphasizes innovation and alignment with national development priorities. Unlike other strategic plans that are 5 years, the plan aligns with the National Development Plan 3 that ends in 2025.
Dr. Constantine Bitwaike, a consultant, stresses innovative digital projects' importance and recognizes the changing media landscape, empowering UBC to lead in creating groundbreaking digital content across radio, television, and online platforms.
One of the core projects that are being spread in this plan is innovative digital content that can be accessed anywhere by different clients under different wishes of this population. You know, today broadcasting has taken a trend whereby you find radio and TV are like they are converged. So we are making sure that the projects, one of the key projects earmarked is to promote converged digital content between radio and television to meet different clients or different listeners and viewers of these programs of UBC.
Dr. James Tumusime, UBC Board Director, notes that strategic interventions in the plan align UBC's direction with National Development Plan 3 goals.
We have it's inbuilt in our plan, regular updates, regular reviews, regular monitoring, and make sure that we align it to the changing world. All the time technology is changing, financial policies are changing, political demands are changing, so we must continuously assess and appraise the plan and ourselves who are implementing this plan.
Dr. Tumusime stresses the plan's role in conducting a systematic performance review, leading to formulating a new plan.
Because UBC, we want, once we can raise more resources and improve our technology and our equipment, it is going to attract more viewers, more listeners, and therefore deliver on its mission and vision. The minute we improve, we are going to deliver well on our objectives.
Tuliahikayo Mary Paula, UBC's Finance Board member, thanks the government for support and seeks more funding for staff satisfaction.
We still have a long way to go because like the digital migration program has not yet been completed, and therefore we need to complete the digital migration. We need to ensure that the DTH, that is the direct to home program, is also implemented to ensure that all the free-to-air services are up and running, and more especially at this time of the year when we are moving into the campaigns, we need to promote our manifesto to inform the public how far we have gone with the implementation of the manifesto.
She emphasizes UBC's goal of expanding digital broadcasting and digitalizing local content.
We need to motivate our staff who are technical and need to move around to collect information, collect news, and ensure that our country is informed. We need to take care of those remote areas, especially those that are in the presidential pledge, which we need to have financed for into the campaigns and elections.
Winston managing the UBC media platforms.
In the process of getting toll-free lines, because we want to make sure that government communication is effective, and the effectiveness can only come through with feedback. So UCC is going to be issuing toll-free lines to all our stations, and we hope that the citizenry out there is going to give us feedback. And the feedback has not only got to be negative, both positive and negative, such that we can communicate this to all the government institutions, agencies, and departments to make sure that plans are implemented, and where there are shortfalls, then remedial measures can be put in place.
UBC seeks to engage audiences at both central and local government levels, contributing to the dissemination of the National Development Plan programs and initiatives. Sudat Kaye and John Burns Sentamu, UBC News.
The closed shop protest by Kampala traders has put government and academia on the spot to find amicable solutions in administering the electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing system. UBC sought the opinion of Dr. Fred Muhumuza, principal economist and academician, who believes the traders' concerns are justified.
Musa has shared his thoughts on the Kampala traders' repulse of URA's EFRIS system, citing a lack of sufficient education on who should be eligible to utilize the solution.
Initially, EFRIS was only supposed to apply to VAT registered companies. And for the same reasons we have said, because at 150 million, you really may be sizable enough to afford the data. You are sizable enough already as a company, you have more than one employees. You possibly already have the gadgets that are required, the computers and the rest of that, plus the knowledge. 150 million used to be something sizable. But now there is also a provision that even those below who are not VAT registered, and you're beginning to get complaints coming from that angle as well.
Although paying taxes is a responsibility for all citizens, Uganda's tax base remains limited, and government needs to focus on empowering citizens to become effective consumers.
If you get into the British system and most of the developed world, they have what we call unemployment benefits. You're 18 years, you finish university, you have no job, we will pay you. It's not that they love you, Mark. No, they actually love the manufacturer. Because once Mark receives his money, you're going to go to theater, you're going to go to that supermarket, you're going to pay your rent. Each of these is taxable. So you realize that the money I gave to you, 300,000, I'm going to get back 170 of that. But not only am I getting the 170 in form of taxes, I have stimulated the demand for the very businesses that run the economy.
During a plenary session, the leader of opposition, Joel Senyonyi, informed the House on the challenges facing the business community regarding tax compliance.
Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, one of the cardinal principles in taxation is that you have got to make it easy for people to pay taxes. It's got to be easy and clear. Because once it is not easy, then people are going to evade the taxes. Because they are saying, I am giving my money, but number two, I am struggling with your system.
Honourable Law,
yes,
maybe just for your information, there is going to be a meeting between URA, the traders, and His Excellency to resolve those issues. They need to be listened to.
Currently, most traders operating in a shop and have a turnover of over 150 million shillings ought to pay an array of financial obligations like income tax, value-added tax of 18% per unit sold, import duty if one imports their goods, KCCA fees and licenses, pay as you earn for his employees, rent, garbage collection and electricity.
So for me, the ultimate thing of increasing tax revenue is going to be how do we secure businesses, how do we secure households? Because those two will drive the economy. An economy that grows at 6% cannot raise the tax to GDP beyond the 14%.
The electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing system, EFRIS, was officially launched by the Uganda Revenue Authority. It was introduced as part of government's efforts to modernize tax administration and improve revenue collection processes in Uganda. Wadulo Mark Arnold, UBC News, in Kampala.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar! My boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the
Osmosis.
Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting it. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
Once upon a time, they lived identical twins who gave birth to beautiful princes and princesses.
Their mothers gave their babies' bodies a lot of care by applying on their skin with Baby Junior jelly.
Though dried their chariots and everyone would admire their glowing skin. Fun fact, Baby Junior prevents diaper rash, dry and sensitive skin.
Moms all over Africa love Baby Junior jelly. Baby Junior's the skin. No more worries anymore. Baby Junior. Baby Junior.
The government of Uganda and the Uganda Bureau of Statistics is calling upon all stakeholders such as the chief administrative officers, city mayors, resident city commissioners, city clerks, city and division councillors, wards and LC chairpersons, as well as the residents and business communities to cooperate with the UBOS field teams as we embark on advanced preparations to conduct the National Population and Housing Census on the 10th of May 2024. The census will be a 10-day exercise to obtain statistical data and information that will be used for planning and policy formulation, including information on 1. How many we are, 2. Where we are, 3. How we are living, 4. What we own, and 5. Where we access services from. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics has now started listing of households and mapping in the 11 cities of Arua, Fort Portal, Gulu, Hoima, Jinja, Lira, Mbale, Masaka, Mbarara, Soroti, and in the Greater Kampala comprising of Kampala, Wakiso, and Mukono districts. For more information, please call 0755 342 128 or 0773 342 128. This message is brought to you by the Executive Director and Census Commissioner, Uganda Bureau of Statistics. Census 2024. It matters to be counted.
Are you planning or in the process of traveling abroad for work? Using irregular channels to find and travel for work abroad often seems cheaper and faster, but you risk being trafficked, mistreated, or forced to do work you did not agree to. Using proper channels is safer, offers more protection, and better access to support services when problems arise. Do not be deceived. Choose the proper channels. Always verify all information before traveling abroad for work by contacting the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, your local district labour office or DSOS office. You can also visit EEMIS website on eemis.nglsd.go.ug. This message is brought to you by the International Labour Organization with support from the Government of Switzerland.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. Officials from Uganda Institute of Information and Communications Technology, UICT, have renewed a working pact with the Department of Uganda Police Force, the closed-circuit television. The move seeks to collaborate the two entries in combating crime in the country.
Dr. Frederick Chitogo, the Executive Director, Uganda Institute of Information and Communications Technology, has paid a courtesy call to the Police CCTV Command Center at Naguru. The delegation was received by Director in charge of ICT in the Uganda Police Force, SCP Yusuf Sewanyana. The visit was to assess the collaboration of the two entities.
The commanders in the command center can have visibility at every aspect of criminality going on within the country, and they can seamlessly coordinate with the field operators such that they can apprehend the perpetrators.
With the two entities already having a memorandum of understanding, this has again been renewed and now seeking to jointly collaborate in capacity building, ICT integration and consultancy.
What is important today is that the human being has limits, but these technologies go beyond those limits. For instance, if it is raining, you cannot have a police officer standing in the rain at night in an isolated area. But if we have a camera in that isolated area, can have visibility on what is going on, and that has assisted grossly in isolated areas and in trying to fight crime.
The memorandum also seeks to enhance ICT, multimedia forensics, FVR integration, data science, and consultancy support.
We need to ensure that the utilizers and the implementers and the beneficiaries have sufficient knowledge, skills, and competencies to use those technologies to do whatever their role is.
This collaboration is in line with the government's digital roadmap, signaling a strategic partnership aimed at driving national development, and also offers approaches in detecting and combating cyber crimes. Lydia Chomkama for UPC News.
And one of the limitations affecting the disbursement of funds meant for social assistance grants for empowerment is the mobile mode of payment. The Commissioner in charge of disabilities at the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Prosper Muhumuza, agrees with the idea of shifting to electronic payment system. This was during the dissemination of IFMS feasibility study for possible deployment in social protection programs and grievance redress management review reports.
There are over 300,000 elderly persons entitled to a monthly payment of 25,000 Uganda shillings, although there are a number of challenges, including access to mobile payment centers.
E-cash is offered by only one service provider. That one is the Stanbic Bank, and this poses a risk in case of system failures. Proposed solution: sign service level agreements with Stanbic Bank to guarantee high level availability of the system, but also expand the service provider to other financial services.
These two reports are highlighting the mode of payment of the social assistance grants for empowerment.
I think we don't need to rest until that old lady in Terego or that old grandpa in Ajumani gets to receive their entitlement or their social protection entitlement with dignity.
Studies conducted on both SAGE for the elderly and Dr. Deep for people living in refugee hosting districts sought solutions to factors limiting the effectiveness of social protection initiatives.
Funds allocated to SAGE and Dr. Deep programs should be transferred to the government single treasury account for access through EFRIS. There should be a digitized database of beneficiaries, payment data including name, account number, account name, national ID, and mobile number.
We really need to make sure that this mama, this father of ours who is 90 years, 95, 185 years, should be receiving his or her cash in a very, very convenient manner without expecting any
fraudulent or games along the way.
SAGE is a social protection program implemented by the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, targeting elderly persons.
I wish to launch these two reports.
Henry Okrut, UBC.
To implement social protection in different areas.
And Judge Isaac Muwata of the High Court Criminal Division has declined to grant Molly Katanga bail. Molly Katanga is the wife to deceased Henry Katanga, and she faces a murder charge against her husband. Court declined to grant her bail on grounds that the case is ready for hearing and there is no evidence from prisons that they cannot handle her health conditions.
Last week, Molly Katanga, wife to the deceased Henry Katanga, through her legal team, applied for bail at High Court Criminal Division in Kampala before Judge Isaac Muwata. Among the grounds Molly Katanga raised were the injuries she sustained on 2nd November 2023 and that she needed treatment outside Luzira prison. All grounds were objected, alleging that the applicant will interfere with the investigations as per the letter issued in court by Detective ASP Yuko Vivian. Judge Isaac Muwata, presiding over the case, after analyzing all the submissions, he declined to grant her bail.
About the sureties in this case appeared substantial. The above findings dispense with the need for them in the matter. Having considered all the circumstances of this case and in view of all the foregoing, it is my view, considered view, that the application for bail is denied. The ends of justice would instead be served by hearing the main case. Accordingly, the application for bail is dismissed. Since the case has been already fixed for trial, the parties are advised to prepare for the trial. I so find.
Following her unhealth condition, Judge Isaac Muwata was of the view that since there was no report from the prison indicating that her illness can't be handled while in prison, he declined to release on bail on this ground.
The medical officer must certify that the condition of the accused person cannot be managed in prison. I perused all the medical reports on record, and there is no such evidence. Accordingly, the absence of any certification from the prison is that her condition is grave and cannot be managed while she is in prison. This ground cannot succeed. On the question of advanced age means the person who is 60 years of age and above. See Rule 4 of the Constitution.
Relatives of the late Henry Katanga, after court, expressed joy.
It's the supreme judge we serve. I have no words. I just glorify his name.
Molly Katanga is accused of murdering her husband, Henry Katanga. The case she's facing with her two daughters, Kakwanza Patricia and Martha Nkwanza, together with Otai Charis and Hashama Boya Manyide George.
Public wants justice to be done, and justice is done by trying the accused person and finding out whether she's guilty or not, but not merely releasing her.
What can you say? Are you people set? Your team, are you set?
The DPP is set. I am sure the DPP is set. The evidence is there. To the best of my information.
However, the four were released on bail recently. Deborah Nama Monde, UPC News.
Uganda People's Congress members, led by President Jimmy Akena, have reached out to the Muslim community in Nakuru with necessities to help them break their fasting period as they wait for Eid al-Fitr. Akena reiterated the UPC agenda to shape the future of Uganda together with all its citizens.
Because of Dr. Obote's effort, that's why today we are enjoying independence in Uganda. And the UPC as a party, all the efforts that they have put, the input that they have put, that's why today we have our freedom in terms of the economy, in terms of political. You have received your blessings here, and also in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are also going to receive your blessing.
Islam is a religion of peace, and as you know, UPC is a party of peace.
we've never advocated for violence, and that's why we believe in coexistence, and that's why you hear the slogan of UPC everywhere. That means every religion, every tribe, every race, every region or district, we have members.
We want equitable opportunity to every citizen of Uganda, irrespective of where you come from, irrespective of your beliefs, but you must have a chance to share in the future of Uganda. And that is what we're going to be pushing. Quality education, quality health care, decent conditions of life, those are the angles which we're going to be pushing. But today is not a day really for politics. This is a day to respect those who have gone through this fasting and to share in that opportunity. As you mentioned, there are blessings in giving. We wish we could be able to do more, but as we've started here, let us see how we can unfold in the future.
010 10.
And as Muslims prepare for Eid celebrations, they are assured that various abattoirs will offer quality services with reasonable prices. The director, Nile Abattoir, Badrun Tamu, says there are precautions taken to ensure safety.
In completion of the fourth pillar of Islam, Muslims await Eid festivities tomorrow. Traders and leaders of the Nile Abattoir, located along Sentema Road in Makiso district, have assured Muslims of good quality and prices of meat. The directors of Nile Abattoir, led by Ntamo Badru, explained the foot and mouth disease and meat prices.
We normally start at 4 a.m., but we don't stop. Being that it's a big day, we are going to separate Eid. So people, they are still coming in. Yes.
Of course, our job is to supply meat. So Ugandans should be well assured that there will be meat in whichever way. Now, for example, these are leftovers, but the traders have already gone to markets. They will be coming in the evening, at night, in the morning.
We have a lot of challenge in supply. The supply has decreased due to the statement that was issued by the Minister of Health. So that statement affected the supply and the consumption of meat here. So a lot of people here, a lot of traders lost their money within that period. So we've been trying to see how we can cope up. As you see the situation now, people are just resuming. We are trying to convince them that meat is safe.
They also appeal to government to allow them to get involved in decision-making on matters relating to their trade.
Of course, we urge the government to come and give us some assistance, like in machines, the machines which we use.
Maureen Babidia and Sekaja Jamil, UBC News.
And with that, to take a quick break. When we return, more details.
Ebiseera by'okuzaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kukaluubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu kano kalippagano ka bidduka. Simanya kuzunga na banka siripusi. Kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga onyizi *165*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited erungamizibwa banka enkulu eya Uganda. after the massive launch of the Museveni Awoma hit song in Kololo, Mukono, Nabweru Wakiso District and Masuleta War Zone, Munamasa Kansereko Emma takes Museveni Awoma to Mityana on Friday, the 26th of April 2024 at Mityana Saza Ground. We shall start with Mulungi Wansi, a health camp, and then a boom of entertainment with thousands of comedians and artists, all at a free entry. Anti-Jaja Gabude. His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni will be our chief guest. Come, let's have fun with Jaja. Don't miss. Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja, a documentary film about our unity as Ugandans and Africans.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
The rulers of Bunyoro are actually Luos.
We people who live across the Nile, we are so related from our myth or from just the Nile.
We are the same people and genetically we are even the same people.
We are similar people.
We are one.
Pamoja, we are one.
Use that word, pamoja.
Premiering every week from 3rd February to June 2024 at the National Theatre and Indere Center. Daily screenings are from 4th February to June 2024 at Ham Cinemax and the National Theatre. To get a ticket, call 787-660. Tuko Pamoja?
And now in business, Uganda has experienced a significant surge in exports with an increase of $2.7 billion US. Bank of Uganda statistics show that it rose from $4.2 billion US in 2022 to $6.9 billion US in 2023 that's in 2023. The chairperson of the Presidential Advisory Committee on Exports and Industrial Development, Audrey Krabogo, told the media during the launch of the 2023-24 annual report.
During the COVID-19 period, Uganda lost over 2 trillion worth of taxes, resulting in over 1 million job losses and a decline in exports. Nonetheless, Audrey Krabogo, the chairperson of the Presidential Advisory Committee on Exports and Industrial Development, is satisfied with the country's recovery.
Production increases have gone up. So we were at $4.5 billion in 2022. Last time I checked, we were at 6.2. Those increases, though, are in gold, are in coffee. I wish I could do better. If I remove the purchase of gold coming in the country, the cost of refining, and how much it is that I genuinely get as a country, it is small. But I am happy because refining is happening in the country.
Bank of Uganda annual report shows Uganda's exports have increased with $2.7 billion, marking a positive shift from $4.2 billion in 2022 to $6.9 billion in 2023, based on the Bank of Uganda statistics. Nonetheless, the rate of export growth has been slower over the past decade.
How are you going to increase your capability to provide jobs unless you sell outside? Exports haven't been a point of concern for many. We have made it a compelling case that unless you trade something today, you shouldn't consume. Unless you're on the market, why are you asking for more institutions, more districts, more counties when you are selling little outside? These problems compounded really make our companies trade small, because we are fishing from the same lake.
While there is a noticeable uptick in export numbers, the actual value of these products remain comparatively low.
The Ugandans think that you pick your nanasi from Masaka and go somewhere and sell it. No. There is a market, there is a source, but there is a bridge. We've been trying to create a bridge by making these reforms. So a lot of change has happened in numbers. I don't have time to go through. You can look at exports 2 years ago awareness on the market 2 years ago, standards 2 years ago, and look at value of exports today.
A strategic target for Uganda's export revenue to reach $100 billion by 2062, with an initial aim of adding an extra $6 billion by 2028. Justin Nakami, Rogers Komagum, UBC News.
And Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum officials have tasked the business community to invest in oil and gas sector as local content. The board chair of Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum, Agri Ashaba, says the opportunities range from human resource providers, food supply and restaurant. Ashaba made the remarks at Serena Hotel in Kampala as he announced the 7th edition of the Oil and Gas Conference in Kampala between the 17th and 18th of April.
18th here at the Serena Hotel, and the main objectives are going to be one, to offer a platform for industry stakeholders to receive updates on the projects that are already ongoing in the oil and gas sector, but to also provide a platform for the exhibition of everyone in the supply of goods and services that are linked to the oil and gas sector and all support services. But three, to also share as much knowledge as possible amongst ourselves so people can understand what the country is doing, what the oil and gas companies are doing, what opportunities are doing, both in employment but in also supply.
Just like any other bank, NCB has been here for a while. And from what I'm quite privy to is there is no specific customer within this space that has come to the bank and we haven't been able to have a conversation. What we do request is whenever you feel or understand that you probably want to participate or are already in participation within the sector, please knock on our doors so that we can be able to help you.
Really encouraging everyone to participate in the convention, because you will get to know more about WIN, get to know more about our collaborations, get to know more about the gaps that we seek to fill as WIN, but even the initiatives and opportunities that are available. And particularly I want to encourage the women, hopefully as you're there, to also come and partake in this convention and also find out what opportunities are there for you. Because we are here to support you, to ensure that each and every one in Uganda can benefit from this oil journey.
We spend a lot of money to go out to promote, to try and showcase that we have this. But with now the new governments, with the new initiatives which we are seeing from the likes of Chamber of Mines, we see that they have made our work easier. Because the issue of promotion, the sector to attract investment, it lies under the Ministry of Energy and Environment. So we want to clap for you.
What we want really, our main objective is to make sure that we engage Tanzanians and engage them aggressively so they open up and sign business ventures with Uganda companies. Well, at the moment it's not happening more, it's not happening a lot, but we want to create that engagement so that we see companies signing joint ventures, and that we are going out on the 17th and 18th. I believe that you have lined up very many Uganda companies that will engage with the Tanzania companies that are coming during this symposium of 17th and 18th. And I look forward to that day because I expect good things happen.
And now in sports, Ndeja University has successfully hosted its 13th Woodball Open Championship with attention to detail, proving to the world that this iconic institution indeed is the founder of the sport that is doing well locally and internationally.
More than 350 participants from 35 teams, including 13 senior teams, 9 corporate teams, 12 secondary schools and 1 primary school have taken part in the 13th Ndeja University Woodball Open Championship.
Well, of course,
The secret is about the teamwork. We have a very, very committed LOC. Of course, that is the local organizing committee. And of course, good. The previous editions have always been good, so it also keeps bringing back even more participants because of the services they get every other time we host Ndeje University Woodball Championship.
The one-day championship climaxed with Prison's Woodball club retaining its senior main category trophy, and Hona hosts Ndeje University took among the women. Bonnabana Association won the primary school category. Luzira Senior Secondary School edged all in the youth boys, while Our Lady of Namiriango bettered all other girls' teams.
Well, and that does it for News Tonight for now. We do return at 10 o'clock with more details. Elizabeth Nakakuni on sign language. I am Rhoda Ngonzi, and we'll leave you with Maureen Kenyana with the weather update.
My name is Maureen Kenyana. Now, we are still seeing those rains across most places within the country, and we had heavy rains today across much of the Karamoja region and most areas within the northern part of the country. And according to a certain analysis, we're seeing that has been mostly because of the alignment of the rain-bearing clouds, or what we call the rain belt, over that area, and that continues to bring us the rains, especially for that area, the Karamoja region into northern Uganda. So those are some of the areas that you should be alert about. If you are around that area, we could be having a likelihood of flash flooding over those areas, and most parts of the country, even for this time of the year, that are starting to receive much more rains. We do urge you to look out for the likelihood of extreme events. Looking at tomorrow's forecast, we are forecasting rainy conditions that will be across most areas within the Lake Victoria Basin and parts of central, but much of central Uganda will have sunny intervals. And looking at the eastern part of the country, the area towards Lake Victoria Basin will have rains, but much of the east will start off with a mix of clouds and sunshine. The western parts of the country, we do expect rains across Midwestern, while the southwestern and Kabale Highlands, we will start off with sunny intervals. Now, looking at the northern area, we do expect those rains to come through in the morning for the Karamoja region and central northern Uganda, but the rest of the northern half will start off with sunny intervals. Well, as we cross over into the afternoon, we do expect to have those rains continue for the Lake Victoria Basin, and that will also be extending up to most areas within central Uganda. We have temperatures going up to 26 for Kampala. And also across the eastern part of the country, we do expect those rains over the area. Temperatures will be rising up to warm 29 for Soroti. The western part of the country will still be looking at those rains again for most of the areas in that region, although we're likely to have chilly weather for Kabale Highlands. We'll be looking at a high of 23 degrees. And the northern parts of the country will be having those rains again, mostly for the Karamoja region. We'll be looking at most of those accompanied by thunder showers and temperatures rising up to 29 degrees. Some of the cities that we have for you, we are forecasting sunny intervals that will be across Dubai and Cairo. Quite hot weather over Dubai. We have temperatures going up to 34 degrees. That brings us to the end of tonight's weather report. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Maureen Kenyana. I wish you a good night.
UPC, inspiring Uganda.